How to trespass. I've explored and documented a lot of abandoned places the past few years, and the question I get the most is, how did you get in there? That's a pretty broad question, but I'm gonna try and answer it, and only incriminate myself a little bit. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Allard, a Rhode Island-based urban explorer and documentary filmmaker. I have a series right here on my YouTube channel called Abandoned from Above, where I go in depth on iconic abandoned places, urban legends, and forgotten pieces of history. And if you need some persuasion to watch, my mom says my work is better than nothing, I guess. So if that doesn't convince you, then I don't know what to say. Today, we're gonna talk trespassing, which I'm doing right now. Yeah, this isn't even my house. Obviously, I'm not gonna go about telling you specifically how to do illegal activities. I'm just gonna share my experiences and how I go about visiting some of these spots. I'm into urban exploration because I'm a huge proponent of historic preservation and storytelling, which I do think helps when it comes to accessing these places, but I'll get into that in a bit. Let's talk types of access. The places I visit can be broken down into 3 categories, and I'll go through each one. Permission, public, and private, the 3 Ps of abandoned spots. Let's start with permission spots. Permission spots are places that I've gotten approval from the owners to go inside and film. The biggest one so far is my abandoned middle school. It's the largest on the East Coast of America. It has over 200,000 square feet of classrooms, hallways, gyms, offices, and a giant auditorium, and it's been virtually untouched by vandals since it was abandoned in 2009. And that's because this place is locked down. Locks on every access point, 3 separate alarm systems connected directly to the police department 3 minutes away, and a guaranteed trespassing charge, not if you get caught, when you get caught. The school came under new ownership in 2022, so I reached out to those new owners, told them about my work, how it would benefit them in redevelopment efforts, and act as promotion for their work and vision. Because of my pitch and experience, they gave me and my filmmaker friends full access and even sat down for an interview in one of my old classrooms to discuss the future of the building. We spent an entire day exploring the school's maze layout, and it was exactly how I remembered it. It was just a filmmaker's dream in there with the amount of things that were left behind and stuck in time. It wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have permission, and because the school is so special to me, going about it without getting permission never even crossed my mind. If you're able to pitch why you filming on someone's property will be mutually beneficial, then chances are they'll be more willing to allow it. But you have to understand some owners don't want the publicity and risk of attracting vandals that comes along with highlighting their abandoned property. And that's probably the biggest reason I've been denied access in the past. It also helps having permission in a situation like my old school because it takes a lot of stress off the shoot worrying about getting caught. And with that being said, there are similar places on my list that I've been denied access to a bunch of times. The Superman building in Providence being the biggest one. Like, what are they even hiding in there? Just let me in already. Anyway, moving on now. Public spots. Public spots are abandoned places located on public property that you can easily just walk up and explore. No permission needed. My latest video on Rocky Point Amusement Park is one of those places, since everything that's left over is now a state park. If you want to check out the old Skyliner remains, just walk up a small trail to check out what's left of the huge machinery at the top of the hill. The Bell's Mansion remains was another one of these spots. I say was because it was recently demolished after local teenagers fell through the roof while exploring it. That put fire to the heels of state officials to demo it real quick. The old stables were all that remained of a once grand Gilded Age mansion and was located in a Rhode Island state park. It was such an interesting interior too, with the stables from 150 years ago still clearly visible. The Milk Can Creamery is another technically public abandoned spot. It's on the side of a major highway in Rhode Island, so it's almost impossible to miss. You can just park right out front and check that thing out. And believe it or not, it's still filled with milk too. The Windswept Mansion remains are one of my favorite public abandoned spots because it's located right on the beach in Rhode Island. It's such a beautiful place, literally right on the water. So if you're into photography or filmmaking, you can go there and really play with the lighting throughout the day. Also, I'm kind of burying the lead here. These remains are the result of drug money from the Davis family painkiller fortune. I won't get into the whole thing right now, but if you want the full story, I did make a video all about it on my channel. Whenever people reach out to me asking for advice or spots to hit up, if I'm able to respond, I'm gonna give a public location. They're not secret spots, they're usually on Google Maps, and they're low risk. But they usually have the wildest history attached to them. Now onto the final type of access. Private spots. Before I get into it, I think this is a great time for me to share my Yes Trespassing sticker bundle, available to order right now. This sticker bundle includes 3 high-quality matte finish Yes Trespassing stickers that allow you to trespass anywhere, and that will not hold up in court, so please don't quote me if you end up there. If you order a pack from the link below, I personally mail each order and will write you a little note to go along with it, so get yours today and say yes to trespassing. Okay, on to private spots. Private spots are places where visiting them can get you in some trouble, which can be tough for me because sometimes when I see a no trespassing sign, it might as well be a welcome mat. If I plan a trip to a place like this, I'm researching everything there is to know about it weeks, sometimes months in advance. I found that very early on a Sunday morning is the best time to go. It's when I visited the iconic Westboro State Hospital, which is now demolished, and when I visited a huge abandoned train station. I didn't see one other person on any of those trips. With that planning, I haven't run into any problems while filming, but in one case I did have a federal agency request that I remove one of my finished videos before they pursued legal action, which I did, obviously, so that one will just live on my hard drive forever. One of my favorite abandoned places to visit under this category was a massive abandoned drive-in theater in Massachusetts. I lost track of how many times I visited or trespassed there over the years. There was something about it, that gigantic screen, completely overgrown, that always brought me back. This crazy relic from a time when drive-ins were the place to go on a summer night. This one was abandoned in 1996 and was pretty much left the same as the day it closed. I would go here in all seasons, all weather, and pretty much all times of day just to see it in different settings. So every time I'd park like a quarter mile away, walk through the woods nearby with my drone and cameras, and just practice taking shots. I went so many times that I knew I'd be fine here. But unfortunately, an arsonist visited in May 2022 and torched the screen, leaving a pile of twisted metal in its place. So absolute moron, whoever did that, just wrecked the whole place and ruined it for actual urban explorers. Fast forward to present day and the land is under new ownership and has been completely leveled, so that place is gone now. Which brings me to my main point. Sometimes what I do is not always approved officially, but if we're not documenting these places after they're abandoned, then we risk them being completely lost to time, vandals, or redevelopment. I love to see these spots get a new life by being repurposed instead of erased, but this is what happens to most of them most of the time, and that's the reality of it. So if I see an opportunity to document something and tell a story, I'm just gonna go for it. To everyone watching, have fun exploring out there and send me a message or leave a comment if you have any questions. And if you want to see all the types of abandoned spots that I just talked about, you can check out my Abandoned from Above series on my channel right now. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.